Hi, I'm your host Sat1, and welcome to this episode with Megan Oxman from Paysafe. Paysafe offers capabilities in payment processing, digital wallets, and online cash solutions. Before you listen to the show, please note that the audio version of this podcast is available on the web. Type thepayments.show into your web browser, and you'll get a list of all the episodes with links to your favorite podcast player. Thanks, and enjoy the episode. Megan, welcome to the Payment Show.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, it's fantastic to have you on. You're joining from London, I believe, right?
I am, yes.
Have you been here a while?
Yes, we've lived in the UK for 5 years now.
Okay, excellent. We'll kick off by introducing Paysafe and yourself. Megan, fantastic. You are the President of Digital Wallets and the Senior Vice President of Product at Paysafe.
Yes, our product experience team.
Paysafe is a leading payments platform which serves a lot of different types of businesses, industries from entertainment to e-commerce and everything in between. And you offer three main offerings, I guess. So payment processing, digital wallets, online cash. And it seems that the company is very targeted around mobile transactions first and foremost. And then flowing on from that, analytics and all the good value add stuff that a great payment company can provide. So before I carry on, have I got that accurate at a very high level of your company?
Yeah, no, that's correct. I think we're about a $1.7 billion company in terms of revenue, and we have about half of that business is mostly in North America with our merchant solutions, so that's mostly payment processing. And then the other half is mostly in Europe, and that's our digital wallet business. And that includes the online offering of cash, which we call eCash. But yeah, so at a broad level, you have it right.
Excellent. So I'd like to kick off with some stats, and especially with which links into your role. So Retail Insight Network provided some interesting statistics saying that 73% of consumers expect large businesses to offer a large variety of payment methods, and 59% of consumers expect the same of small businesses. And you guys offer 250 payment types, which is very broad. Most of us in the UK or the US or anywhere think there's only 3 or 4. There's the bank, Amex, MasterCard or Visa. So that was quite an interesting stat to learn for me about your company. You have 25 years of experience in the payment space, your company, 40 plus currencies and over $1.5 billion in wallet deposits. So some pretty impressive stats there. And one thing that Paysafe offers close to my heart, eCash. You're one of only, I think, 2 or 3 people I've had on previously that even talks about cash. So that's fantastic to see. And I'm definitely going to delve into that because that's something very close to me in terms of financial inclusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start with talking some of those stats and how your brands fit in, because you've got several brands under the Paysafe umbrella, I believe. So it'd be good to maybe mix those conversations together.
Yeah, of course. So we do have many different brands. We have on the digital wallet side, we have Skrill and Neteller, and these are both providing mostly the same product solution to our clients, which is essentially customers are able to deposit money into their wallet, and then they're able to use that money at 300,000 plus merchants that we have connected to those wallets. So they can do, one of the big value propositions that we have for the digital wallet is that we can transfer money seamlessly, right? From the wallet, the balance that a customer has in their wallet to the merchant and then back. So particularly for industries such as financial trading, such as gambling, such as crypto, this is something where customers really do value the speed of money movement. And so this is a key reason why customers are using our digital wallet across the world. So that's our Skrill and Neteller businesses are largest in Europe and then Latin America and North America as well, where we're growing quite rapidly.
Okay.
On the Paysafe card side, so this is mostly our eCash business. This is a business where we have been able to there's about 500,000 different distribution points where customers can go in and they're able to digitize cash. So they can walk into their local corner store and they can say, here's 10 euros, and they can get a 16-digit PIN, and then they can go and deposit money online. So really an exciting value proposition. One that also feeds into our digital wallet. So this is customers can actually use cash to deposit onto their digital wallet as well.
That's fantastic. So a truly broad offering, not just digital through credit cards and debit cards.
Exactly. And you mentioned earlier we have the 250 local payment methods that we offer. And, quite rightly, in US and UK, we think mostly about debit and credit cards and sometimes bank transfers. But if you're in Poland, you want to use BLIK. If you're in Portugal, you want to use MBWay. If you're in Spain, you want to use Bzoom. And these are payment providers that a lot of companies don't think about that are truly important to those local customers. And so, payments is very local, and you need to meet those customers where they are, and you have to be able to allow them to pay how they want to pay. And so that's something Paysafe really excels at.
Yeah, I mean, that touches on the main reason I started the podcast, which was to offer or educate listeners about lowering friction and increasing sales conversion. Mm-hmm. Because prior to me starting the show, I mean, okay, we had PayPal and maybe a few early examples of digital wallets, but e-commerce vendors were losing sales hand over fist when people were browsing on a phone and then they get to the card entry screen and then abandoning the cart. Mm-hmm. So Apple Wallet has been very successful, Apple Pay, Google Pay as well. So with all these 250 odd payment systems, the conversion rate amongst your customers must be very, very high in general. Would I be right in assuming that?
It is quite high, and it's something that we every quarter we spend time on to try to get that payment success rate even higher. And there's really two conversion rates that we track religiously. So one is, as customers want to deposit money into their wallet, how often does that work? And one of the big projects that we had last year was what we called next best action, which is sometimes just based upon the country that you're in, the payment method that you're trying to use, we just don't have a high success rate. And so we're able to show those customers, if you're in Portugal, for instance, and you are trying to deposit via bank transfer and it's not working, well, we also have all these local payment methods, MBWay, Multibanco, and maybe try those instead. So it is something that we are constantly looking at and trying to improve. And then we also have the conversion rate between the wallet and the merchant. And that's something that is typically quite high, just given that we already have the funds available in the wallet. And it really is a key reason that customers are using us, because they can rely on the success of their payments.
Yeah. That's one thing I want to dig into a bit deeper on the merchant side. So you've got enterprise-focused solutions, and you've got small, medium business solutions as well. And I wanted to understand, how do merchants typically engage with you? Do they come to you first, or do customers sort of want to spend at a certain merchant and then they come up on your radar? I don't know. How does your organization typically work?
Yeah, there's the two sides of the house. I'll cover them separately because it works slightly differently on each. On the wallet side, the exciting part about being a two-sided network is that you see demand from both sides. So on the customer side, you see a lot of customers saying, hey, I like Skrill. I want to be able to use Skrill at all types of merchants. So kind of putting pressure on the merchant to be able to accept Skrill. And then on the other side, you have the merchant saying, Skrill, wow, that's 2.5 million customers. I want to be able to get some of those customers and be able to offer them the local payment method that they want to be able to use. And so we see demand from that side as well. So it really is, we have a sales team going out and finding new merchants for us, but we also then have customers who are just asking merchants to be able to accept the Paysafe payment methods as well. So okay. That's a digital wallet side. We also have the merchant solutions side of the house, and mostly payment processing. This is mostly a North America business for now, although expanding into Europe. And this is more of a sales-led business that we have. And so this is really sales going out and making sure that we can drive those enterprise clients and also the SMB merchants by being able to offer them payment solutions.
Yeah. If we look at the industries that you serve amongst your brands, travel and airlines, retail and hospitality, and there are some financial services focused products as well, and gaming. Is it an even 30-30-30 split amongst those, or where do you see the most business as a company?
So Paysafe has historically, especially on the digital wallet side, we were one of the original digital wallets, and the reason that it really started was to enable payments where payments was hard. And so when you think about the history of that, a lot of that is on iGaming, so the gambling industry. Financial trading in certain markets was also a part of that as well. So those are historically the largest and continue to be the largest segments that we have in terms of the verticals that we serve. On the digital wallet side, on the merchant solution side of the house, it really is across all sectors that we have seen growth. Or it actually is hard to find, still within that entertainment verticals, but we are much more diverse. And one of the areas that we're trying to continue to diversify is in those verticals, so recognizing where our history is, where we have been strongest, but also where the value proposition is that allows us to grow into other verticals, particularly on the entertainment side. So travel and entertainment, e-commerce, and video gaming we've also been historically very big in as well, especially on the Paysafe card side. And how do we continue to offer those product and features that video gamers want as well?
Yeah. A lot of gamers don't like Microsoft points or whatever the big companies use.
Yeah, and the ability to use cash, especially when you think about the young customers who might not even be on the banking system yet. They want to just be able to take their 20 euros and go play on Xbox. Yeah,
absolutely. It would be great to talk about some of your customers potentially. I saw lots of case studies on your website. You're building stack in Canada, policy expert in the UK. Are there any examples that you particularly would love to talk about? Some really great stories that you have? Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about a new product that we launched last year, which I'm particularly excited about, and this is on the Paysafe card business. So we started to interview a lot of our customers who were just not coming back as frequently or becoming dormant, and realized that the number one reason that they were leaving or not using Paysafe card nearly as much as we wanted them to is that we didn't meet their payments needs. They told us that all you do is digitize cash. We want to do a lot more with you, but you don't really have the right offerings for us.
And just to clarify, when you say our customers, you mean the end users?
Yes, the end users. Yeah. So these end customers were saying, basically Paysafe isn't providing me the payment methods that I want. And so with that in mind, we worked backwards from there to understand we need to be offering them much wider suite of products. And so worked with a third party to be able to offer banking as a solution. So now we're able to offer those customers an IBAN, so they can deposit their money, they can transfer that money anywhere, they can pay now with any merchant that accepts Paysafe card, but then also anywhere else that they want to for groceries, at other merchants, etc. So we're really able to, we're seeing our ARPUs going up tremendously. We're able to see a much longer customer tenure than we have in the past. And also, and this is where I get most excited, being able to go after new customer segments. So really offering this cash-based in many ways, where we're able to go after different types of customers than we have had in the past.
Yeah. Would I be right in assuming that a lot of people are looking for alternatives because not just payments might have been difficult in the past, but just better, UX, user experience? Because I can tell you from my side, my personal financial situation, I've moved several banking products and credit cards just purely because of the apps and the user interfaces are much better than what my existing banks are offering. Do you see a lot of that?
Absolutely. Yes. I think the bar for consumers has gone up tremendously in terms of what they expect in terms of a frictionless, intuitive journey, and they're not very loyal. And it is very important that payment providers are able to offer that frictionless journey. And it's one thing that we have last year, especially on the digital wallet side, we set up some really great metrics around the customer funnel, and we're able to see at a very low level of detail when and why customers are dropping out, and therefore under better understanding what's going on in that journey. How do we fix it? How do we make it more intuitive? How are we able to really just make sure that it's seamless journey for them, and that we're able to answer the questions without even nobody wants to contact customer service, so how do we actually just make all of the solutions available for them to self-service as well?
You must have a big UX and design team, I'd imagine.
We do. UX design and research, which is pretty tremendous that we have an in-house research team, and they have been absolutely tremendous in helping us get in front of the right customers and the merchants, understanding their pain points, or doing some the better understanding and really getting into their heads.
Do you find that in projects where businesses initially might have come to you for a payment solution, and then your teams have to educate them on linking the payment process into their website, which might be really old and clunky?
Yes, so certainly the developer experience is another very important experience that we have to make sure that the integration for a merchant is as automatic as it possibly can be, and making that quick and seamless to the greatest extent possible, and then also that we're able to provide the right information to them. So with the portal that the merchants are seeing, are they seeing all of the transactions that they need to? Do they understand where there's chargebacks or holds, and making sure that they can contact us as well when they need to.
Yeah. Another aspect I wanted to ask about is just the sheer amount of fraud and security issues, and now it's getting even worse with AI. And alarm bells start ringing when you're talking about eCash solutions, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, that could be a nightmare too. So it'd be great to understand where you're seeing problems and issues arising from the criminal side, and how you're addressing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is both a blessing and a curse, really. What we are really seeing is that on the one hand, the tools get better, right? Now with AI, you're able to go through just vast amounts of frequency of transactions, where they're coming from, any information you can possibly gather, doing it really at lightning speed. The problem, though, is that the bad actors also get a lot better because the same tools are available to them. And so we have seen that it's getting harder and harder, and it absolutely is a need for Paysafe to continue to invest in AI. And our risk and compliance teams are already very, very robust, and Paysafe has had a higher risk appetite, I would say, than most payment providers in the past, and that really has been an advantage for us, that we're able to stay ahead of some of the trends that have been going on. You mentioned eCash earlier. I would say that's our risk and compliance has always been very tight. Cash has always been a challenging area to be in. And so we do have various friction points that we have to introduce along the journey for regulatory, and also just to make sure that we are serving good actors. So that continues to be an important part of the customer journey. What we try to do, though, is make sure that it's as frictionless and seamless as possible, and therefore using AI to whatever extent that we can to really make that journey easy for folks to be able to continue, using third parties to be able to match back data in the background if we can, but still stay very much ahead of that curve.
Yeah. So on the cash side, because in the UK you can't pay for something in cash more than £2,000, I think, from memory. So you mentioned you have tiers. What kind of tiers are we talking, that you can only deposit so much in so much time, or what is it?
Yeah, it varies based upon country, but essentially you have, under 50 euros, pounds, you're able to deposit and use that money. And then as you go up, 200 pounds or euros roughly, you need to provide more due diligence. So basically explain who you are, address verification. And as you try to go using the lifetime, when you hit those lifetime thresholds, you provide more and more information. So eventually needing to provide source of wealth, bank statements, et cetera, essentially to make sure that we know our customers, and we know how they arrived at the cash that they're presenting to us.
So you'd have to provide the equivalent of if you're opening a bank account, almost.
Yes,
basically,
and beyond. If you're going higher thresholds, you get to 2,000-3,000 euros, and it's more than what you need to provide for a bank account.
Oh, that's interesting. Why is that? Is that because you're under more scrutiny as sort of e-money institutions?
It's really for money laundering, to prevent money laundering, to be able to truly know your customer and understand how they came across that wealth.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask earlier, but I didn't, my fault. So you've got Skrill and Nutella as two brands, and then you have...
Those are digital wallets. Mm-hmm.
Those you do, okay. So, and then Paysafe is the payment processing side. Is that right?
Paysafe is the overarching, the company name. And yes, but when we are merchant processing, we go by Paysafe is the brand that we present to merchants there. Okay,
so that's the three key brands. Okay.
Yes, and Paysafe Card as well. That's what our eCash business. So it's mostly a European-based business, but it's very popular, particularly in Central and Eastern Europe. People know Paysafe Card brand. It's on a bunch of logos, for instance, at those distribution points that customers know that they can go in and deposit cash and basically get that 16-digit PIN so that they can go play video games, for instance, online.
Sure. Another question I wanted to ask from the merchant side. Chargebacks are obviously a huge headache for retailers, especially the smaller ones, because that £20 or £10 charge each time, it adds up. So if merchants out there are thinking of implementing your solutions, is it quite an easy sell? I mean, first of all, they have to know about your brands, and I'm not sure how brand aware, in the UK anyway, they are about your solutions. But I'm talking just generally, how open are merchants to looking at other things, or maybe they just don't know about alternatives?
You mean specifically for chargeback solutions?
That's a big one,
general?
but just in general too.
So I do think a lot of merchants don't consider a digital wallet necessarily for payment processing. And so this is what we offer in Europe. So merchants can actually settle into a wallet and see their funds immediately, and then be able to, for instance, if they want to pay payroll or if they want to transfer money elsewhere, they can do so immediately as well through a digital wallet. So this is a slightly different model of payment processing than I think most merchants typically look at. And I do think it's something that makes Paysafe quite unique. On the payment processing side of the house, more in North America, it's more of a standard solution. And there in the portal, we show merchants their chargebacks, and they're able to ask us questions, and we can go back and try to get them resolved as soon as possible.
Okay.
And what we actually are working on in North America as well is what we're calling business wallet, essentially, which is customers in North America can essentially do what I just described. They're able to settle their payments into the wallet, and then they can also do those wallet-to-wallet transfers immediately. So it's somewhat of a more unique proposition.
And these are brand new modern payment rails versus going through the banking system.
It's basically just using the Paysafe digital wallet, so wallet-to-wallet.
I just sort of had a thought there that maybe the only wallet type that businesses are familiar with, and the functionality you just talked about, is effectively PayPal. But a lot of merchants, as we know, don't like PayPal for various reasons. So it would also be more logical for businesses dealing with smaller transactions to consider your digital wallet products as businesses, because then obviously you mentioned the verification tiers, so you've got that tension of speed versus convenience.
And the cost of payments as well, especially if you're doing a wallet transfer. That's, for us, it's just an on-us transaction, which is, quite economical.
Yeah. Okay. So it'll be a lot lower than your typical card transaction. Yeah. Was
Absolutely.
it 2.5% plus 30 cents?
In the US for debit, it's
yeah.
Was it 21 basis points was 5 cents, I think, for debit.
Yeah. Excellent. So we covered a lot there. Is there anything that you wanted to cover for merchants and businesses looking at faster converting payment solutions that I might have completely missed? Something you wanted to get across?
I think we covered a lot of it. The business wallet is really where we're most excited, especially with our merchant clients in North America, to be able to offer those faster payments rails. And then one of the other area we're really excited for is being able to offer them other value-added services within this wallet. So, they can deposit their funds, and then we can introduce them to a lot of other payment providers as well. So if they're, we know that 90% of SMBs essentially fail in the first year, mostly because of cash flow issues. So how could we, within their wallet, be able to introduce them to players who might be able to help bridge some of those gaps, or maybe they need payroll providers, et cetera. So really looking for essentially being a one-stop shop for these businesses to be able to process payments, but also run their business, which we're super excited by.
And if they did want to look at one of your solutions, what does the engagement process look like, and how quickly can a merchant be up and running with your solutions, or any one of them?
Very quickly. So we can automatically onboard merchants both in North America and in Europe. So we're looking at, it's a matter of making sure that we agree on the terms, pricing, et cetera. But, within a matter of weeks, really, they can be up and running.
And in terms of your pricing in general, does it tend to be on a transaction basis, or monthly or annual contracts, or a bit of a mix of both?
It really depends if it's more the merchant solutions side of the house, so U.S. acquiring, and that, in which case it's a mix of per transaction plus a monthly fee on the transaction level. In Europe, it's more of they pay for what you use, because a lot of our local payment methods they vary quite considerably in terms of cost, and therefore it's a lot of transparency for the merchant to understand you pay for the type of transactions that your consumers are demanding.
Yeah. So your website is paysafe.com, and on Twitter, you guys are at Paysafe. It'd be great to know where customers or prospects can potentially meet you, any conferences or anything like that, or events coming up.
We have the digital assets solutions in London this week, actually, where a number of Paysafers are there. So if anyone's at the digital assets conference, you can meet some of our team there. And we are always at many of the payments events. So certainly do look out for us, and just look for someone from Paysafe, and we are happy to talk to you about our solutions.
And you offer demos and things online for merchants if they're interested in seeing what the solution looks like, or
we're
trials
happy to
or
take
anything
you
like
through
that?
some demos. Yeah, absolutely. If you just go to paysafe.com, we're very happy. You can find out. Someone from our sales team would be more than happy to walk you through that process. And one of the things Paysafe is really known for, and we recently were ranked number 3 in JD Power and Associates for merchant solutions, is our customer service. And we really are very happy to walk customers through, understand what our solutions are, and really be there for the whole journey. So we're very proud of that, and absolutely happy to continue that for prospective clients as well.
Excellent. I'd love to ask you about predictions that you've got in the payment space for the coming year. I read some really interesting things in your Future of Payments report that's available as a download on your website. It would be great if you could maybe talk about some of those points, or if you have something even newer that you can share in terms of what you think is going to happen in the payment space in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, of course. I think this is probably not much of a prediction, but more of a reality, is that customers just continue to demand frictionless, intuitive journeys, and the payment providers need to keep up with that. Customers get more and more demanding, understandably so, and being able to use AI and other tools as part of that is really just going to become table stakes for being a successful payment provider. So I think that's one trend. I'm super excited about digital wallets. I do think that some of the data that we have seen is that customers who use digital wallets are using them 40% more often than they did last year. And particularly, based upon our conversation earlier about fraud and some of the bad actors out there, I do think there will be a trend for consumers trusting fewer payment providers than they did in the past, really making sure that the people who they're going to give their financial information to, that they trust and that they know are doing a good job of keeping them safe. So I do expect that digital wallets, kind of as that barrier between customers' financial information and the merchants, will continue to grow in popularity, really also in conjunction with Google and Apple Pay of having paved the way. Maybe a third prediction, and it sounds like we are somewhat connected on this, is cash. I think everybody thinks that the world is becoming more digital and cash becomes irrelevant. I am a naysayer in that opinion. The data that we have seen is that cash actually just becomes more and more popular. We see more usage than we ever have in the past. And, there's a number of reasons for it. And when we do our customer research and try to better understand why customers are using it. So one is budget. It's so easy to whip out your card and potentially spend a little bit more than you expected you did. But what we hear from a lot of our customers is that they really like to budget themselves with cash that they have in their pocket. And also being able to keep money separate is another reason that customers have really enjoyed cash. And from a financial inclusion perspective, cash has really been either customers don't want or don't have access to formal financial services. And so for these reasons, cash, in my opinion, is going to continue to be a very relevant form of payment and something that we need to make sure to continue to consider. And as merchants need to make sure that you have cash acceptance, because otherwise there's quite a few customers out there who, if you're not able to pay with cash, they're not going to be able to pay it at this merchant site.
The one thing that it seems that businesses seem to have forgotten is resiliency. So you'd know, being in London, that this week Tesco and Sainsbury's, and for some of the international listeners who don't know, they're two of the biggest grocery chains in the UK. They had a meltdown of their IT systems for a day or so, and there were signs up on Twitter, pictures that customers had taken with cash only. I just find it amazing that businesses have just ignored the most basic premise of tech, that it all fails. It will all fail at some point. Your hard drive on your PC is going to die at some point. Your car's going to break down, and communications are going to go down. So payments are not going to work. I just don't understand why nobody seems to understand this, or they've just abandoned this concept of resiliency.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I mean, it's a kind of a shock. As a Londoner, I don't even know the last time I went to the ATM to get cash, but it's not going away.
I mean, I've always got £100 cash with me all the time. It's just because this has happened so many times over the years where you've had maybe not a whole national chain go down, but
yeah,
various scenarios where a shop says, "Oh, this doesn't work" or "that doesn't work." It just happens all the time. I just don't understand why people don't think like that. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Megan. Really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And wish you all the best. And hopefully we'll meet at some point in the future at a conference or something.
Sounds great. I look forward to it. Thanks a lot, Satwan.
Great. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.